Hiya! Today I have an exciting box to unbox with you. If you're new here, my name is Kama, also known as Weird is the Best. I'm a mixed media artist and I do lots of sketchbook tours, art supply hauls, a little bit of vlogging on this channel. So yeah, all kinds of weird and cute art. I'm very free in my art as well. So yeah, I can't wait to show you what's in this box. Ta-da! So let's get into it. Scrawlr box is a website where you can subscribe to their monthly boxes and they will send you different art supplies every month. And they sent these interesting boxes with inspiring zines inside. They're not like teaching you how to make art with them, but they contain a couple like instructions on how to use the materials. You'll see more when I show you the zine. So here's box number 1, or rather, so they've been doing this for quite a while. This one's from March 2024. And I think they used to be numbered, but this one doesn't seem to have a number. Maybe inside the zine there will be. And you always get a bunch of art supplies, a zine describing the art and the materials that are in it, a piece of artwork, so they always collaborate with an artist for each of these boxes, and they create a piece of art and a bit of information about them, and yeah, it's just how it works. And this one is number 103, and there's usually some kind of sketchbook or a pad. This one's a really nice one because it's a Sea White of Brighton Capcycling sketchbook. This one's recycled and it's a British brand. I use them quite a lot, so yeah, I'll probably save this one and use a separate sketchbook that I already have of Sea White of Brighton, because I'll keep this one for the next, like, I'm working in too many sketchbooks already. But it should have almost exactly the same paper. It's A5 size, 140 GSM, and this one has 40 pages. And if you're in UK, a lot of shops will have it. Often libraries, if they have a shop, or art galleries, things like that, places like that will have these sketchbooks. Let's unbox it. This particular box, I went for the art supplies that I liked, not necessarily this art style, but yeah, you can probably create all kinds of art with the same art supplies. So yeah, I was drawn to the supplies rather than this particular style. Okay, that's cool. I wasn't sure which box this was. And this is Pentel Art's brush sign pen. And it's like a brush pen. It's water-based. I kind of struggle with alcohol-based art supplies because they bleed through the paper. So, and I love Tombow brush pens, so I thought this is an interesting color scheme. I liked it, and yeah, here we are. And there's always like a sticker matching the artwork. And this one came with a uni pin in brown. These fine liner pens are really good for if you want to work with water brush pens and fine liners. You probably want to look out for water and fade proof, rather waterproof. Or sometimes it says fade proof or pigment ink. Usually that means that the water materials won't dissolve it, although I think it's safer to put the pen on top of the art materials. And it means that if you're, cause sometimes when you draw with a fine liner on top of some kind of marker pen, it will kind of like, the lines won't be nice and crisp. It will kind of like dissolve on the paper. I don't know if that makes sense, but it can be very disappointing. So you're looking for waterproof pens if you want to combine marker pens or like brush pens and fine liners. And there's also a white gel pen. I've had very mixed luck with gel pens, including like all your favorite brands out there. I've never found one that I'm actually using consistently, apart from maybe Posca, but even that is sometimes hit and miss. I think it's just the way I tend to use art supplies. Okay, so let's unbox this. I think I'll leave this for later, just because chances are will be here a long time as usual. I tend to like make these videos longer than I intend, so we can always unbox it at the end. I think I'm looking for a sketchbook that I already started. Hang on. So yeah, as I said, I'm going to use a different White of Brighton sketchbook, but I think it has the same paper inside. The cap cycle thing refers to the cover, I believe. So the cover has been made from recycled cups, coffee cups. And yeah, like I said, this one's 40 pages. But yeah, I think the paper inside should be exactly the same. It doesn't handle wet media too well. It does handle it, but I feel like it's not as vibrant on it as other types of media. But because that's what came in the box, that's what I'm going to test these materials with. And then we can move on to my different sketchbooks just for comparison. I'm going to move everything. Let's find out a tiny bit more about this box though, first. So the contents, we already went through that. And here's the artist, the featured artist of this box. It's Balko on, I imagine, Instagram. There's an interview with the artist and the kind of art they make. You can kind of explore that. And here are some tips. So you can make swatches, sorry. You can combine colors, so you can mix two colors together. So they combine like gray with purple, yellow and kind of purplish, and so on and so on. I think it's magenta actually. You can try out different marks. You can add white on top. You can do lots of dots and spots. And you can add water, because they're water-based, they will be water-soluble. So yeah, this seems to be water-soluble once it dries. Some materials will be water-soluble or water-based, but once they dry, they're no longer water-soluble. And here are some ideas of what to draw. I definitely don't really like this style, so I'm just going to draw my own thing instead. I haven't really decided what. And the artist's advice is to not press too hard with a fine liner, because you can like damage the pen and make the lines uneven. They're talking about pointillism, which is using loads and loads of tiny dots. And here's the featured artwork. And they make a note that artist has used extra colors not featured in this box. And that's why I am a bit hesitant to subscribe for the full price boxes, because I would happily subscribe if it was a full tutorial on how to make the finished art piece, but more often than not, they're using more. So the box isn't like a complete set, although there's quite a lot of colors here, but the artist here used a few more. I should probably mention, if it wasn't clear, that this video is not sponsored. If you're Scrawlrbox and watching it, I would love to test out some boxes for you. But yeah, it's not sponsored. I just bought them for myself because I love the idea of these pens, but I probably wouldn't have bought them otherwise if they weren't on sale. Yes. It's a bit of a shame that they don't have any packaging apart from like this flimsy plastic. Yeah, I probably just keep them in a pot. Okay, let's start swatching in no particular order. I'll just go in the order they're here. And one thing that I struggle with this paper is that there's something weird about this paper, which isn't necessarily bad. I just prefer other stocks for wet media of any kind. I tend to use these for sketching. They're brilliant for sketching, and even gouache paint. See, White of Brighton handles gouache paint really well. So this is the... Oh, by the way, these are Pentel brush pens, and they're made in Taiwan, which I think is also where Tombow brush pens are made. And this color is dark brown. Maybe I should write that down. One thing I would say, if I was to compare these with Tombow brush pens, is this feels a bit more fragile. When I write with the, especially this tip, it's softer. It's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just a different material. And this nib is a bit, I don't know, it's probably like comparable to Tombow brush pens, it's just a little bit different. So I guess it's a personal preference. Here's beige. One thing I'm always interested in is to see whether the pens bleed. And they bleed a tiny amount, but not much at all. And bearing in mind this page was a little bit wet from this art material. It was art graph that I was testing. So yeah, it's not too bad so far. I haven't tried layering them yet. I think this nib is a bit inconsistent, but maybe it's just because it's brand new and I haven't really used it much. Something nice about like flexible brush nibs is, I might show you on a different color as well, just so you can see it better, is the line variation that you can achieve. So they're really nice for hand lettering, for example. You can make thick and thin lines in one stroke, depending on like what pressure you apply. The next color is heliotrope. It's very bright and saturated. This feels like it's run out of ink, but yeah, again, I'll give it more chance to work because it's brand new. A pretty cool color, a bit bright for me, but maybe in combination, like as a whole color scheme, it might work quite well. This color is magenta. Oh, I should probably make some swatches here just to cover them with the black and white, the sepia and white. And also I want to test how much they bleed. Okay, magenta. I'm kind of out of touch with my lettering and lettering skills, so they're not perfect, but... And the next one is raw umber. I always stayed away from raw umber for some reason. I think it's just the color by itself doesn't look very pretty, but I'm learning that it's a very useful color to have, so I'm glad it's included. It's like very earthy color, useful for nature drawing and things like that. I'll make it the same for each color, so I'll add a bit more. So it's good to know. Like overall swatching art supplies, it's a very good idea if you want to know more, like get to know your art supplies and see how they react with paper without like the pressure of making a finished piece. So I recommend you try when you get new art supplies. This one's light grey. I would argue this is like more medium grey. I just had a moment. I thought I wasn't recording anymore, but I am, so that's a relief. But I feel like I need to move everything. It really doesn't like this paper. It's either the ink in the pen or it's this paper, but it goes a bit blotchy when I layer it on top. I have two more. So this one's silver grey. Is this cool and this warm? I never know, especially with greys. Oh, it's almost peeling paper. I don't like that at all. I'm going to have a quick sip of water. Oh no, I spilled the water. Okay, and dark red. And this nib is definitely a little bit disappointing, but we'll see how I get on with these pens over a longer period of time. Dark red. I'm being really gentle because, yeah, it looked like I was about to damage either the paper or the nib. Okay, so I'm just going to write down what these are. So it's Pentel Brush Sign Pen Twin. Quite a mouthful. That didn't work out. That's okay though. Okay, so these are all my swatches. Oh, I changed my mind. It looks incomplete. Okay. So now I'm going to see what's on the other side. And it might be good or bad. Oh, it's bleeding. Okay. But I did, to be honest, they were quite layered on this side of each swatch. So it's not too bad, but it's not perfect. Now we have this fine liner. This is how it writes. By default, it's 0.5 nib, so it's quite a thick one. You can get 0.05. I think they might be the smallest. So this is like almost the biggest tip of these pens. They come from like 0.05 to 0.8 and maybe sometimes 1. And brush pens, sometimes they come with a chisel nib, so like an angled nib. So there's all kinds of pens. Like Unipin is not the only brand of fine liners that you can use with similar markers or brush pens, sorry. But they all are kind of similar in nature. Okay, I'm going to use it on top of these swatches. Obviously, brown on brown, you can barely see that it's there. What I'm watching out for is to double check that the ink isn't like spreading when I add it to the swatch. But I think this is okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's worth doing it there. It is spreading, especially on the thicker layers. And from experience, I have to say that it's probably not the Unipin, it's probably Pentel brush pens, or the combination of them and the paper. Yeah, I have to say, obviously, the scrawlr box are very good value for money. Even at full price, you get quite a lot for your money. They tend to pick paper that maybe isn't the most suitable, so I wouldn't judge the box just by the paper and how it handles. It's usually high enough value in the box that the paper is kind of like a bonus in a way, in my opinion at least. So it's good to try different mark making, just to see how it affects, how everything interacts. So, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but you can see the dots aren't exact nice spots as I expected them to be, especially with a high quality fine liner. I'm going to try everything, maybe like a couple colors only in 3 different sketchbooks in a second, just so you can see the difference. Okay, and now let's try Frisk gel pen. Sometimes these pens pick up the pigment on the page, so if that happens, I'll leave this to the side, we'll move to the different sketchbooks, let it fully dry, and then we'll try again. It should just work, I think. It might need waking up first. Yeah, because I don't think it doesn't look like it has anything on top. Like, it's not working yet. It should just work, but it's not at all. Oh, I think it started, okay. Yes. So unfortunately with gel pens, especially white ones, sometimes you have to layer them quite thickly and multiple times for the gel ink to be visible. It seems to be like this almost immediately fades. I'll make the first lines thicker and more prominent, but I'll leave these as a, just to show what it looks like with a single line. So that's what it's. So you can achieve a full coverage a little bit more if you layer it a little bit. I find it a bit imprecise to just keep going like that. It's a bit hard to see on the lighter swatch. That's the problem with gel pens, they skip a lot usually, and this one seems to have that problem. Yeah, I just stopped writing. Now I'll try and make it work again. Not very good at the moment, but yeah, you can kind of co-opt it to work. I forgot to make a bigger dot. Okay, so when I use extremely light pressure, the ink seems to flow better, but not perfect. Like sometimes it just stops flowing. That's why I don't really use gel pens much. Yeah, this spot is completely busted. Like I can't draw on top of it anymore. If you're interested in testing different art supplies, or in videos testing art supplies, I've tested multiple scrawlr boxes before, as well as some Artex markers and multiple art supply shops. I will leave a link down in the description below, although I realize I say that and I just realized that I probably didn't leave them in the last few videos. But I usually link up to a playlist related to a video at the end. So I'll leave a link at the end of this video if you would like to continue watching art supplies. Okay. Before we continue, I just wanted to mention that I have an online shop and a newsletter where I sell stickers and silly art, as well as a bit more serious comics, and I'm working on a graphic novel. So yeah, you can find all my work on my Etsy shop, and also if you subscribe to my newsletter you will get 15% off my Etsy shop. And soon I'll be moving to a new provider, so I'll be sending out a free zine to all my subscribers as well, like a digital one. And yeah, if you subscribe, you can see like exclusive behind the scenes and like sketchbook pages. You will get exclusive early view of any of my deals or sales and things like that. So make sure you check out my links in the description for this. Okay, so we're done with the sketchbook. I'll show you from close up. I think the white is quite good. I think it can serve a good purpose when you're making art. But let's try all of this. Oh yes, I forgot to combine the colors, didn't I? I said I would do that. So this is the heliotrope. And I think what I'll do is I'll make a bigger square and then I'll draw lines with different colors just to see how they work together. I think that will be more interesting than just circles. So like most brush pens, water-based brush pens, and even alcohol markers, when I try and fill the shape, it's not perfect. Like it's a bit patchy. Maybe a little bit more patchy than Tombow brush pens. I'll show you in a second a single color just for comparison. Trying to grab a similar color. It's not at all similar, but that's the first one that came to my hand. So this is a Tombow brush pen. I probably should do it here. Yeah, it's not the right color, is it? I picked these two, so maybe this is similar to dark red, and this should be similar-ish to this. I don't really have these as bright purple. So again, it's not perfect, but I think the variation of color is a bit less visible. But yeah, they're very comparable. Oh, this is not at all similar to dark red, but that's okay. The brush nib is a bit longer and more kind of flexible and sturdy, so I was able to cover the same area much quicker with a Tombow. These two are similar. So yeah, I keep missing bits because I'm used to bigger brush. Okay. Okay, so let's mix some colors. I think we can get interesting results with mixing this purple or heliotrope with beige. So let's try that. I have to say I'm not comfortable mixing these two. It's not fun on this paper. So I'll just go through it quickly because I feel like we'll get much better results in a different sketchbook. It's just like different sketchbooks are good for different things, and this one is better for paints, like gouache paints and things like that. Anything that doesn't immediately soak up into the paper. What else could we try? Maybe this. And it's hard to tell what the color is immediately. This is light grey. Then this one, maybe this silver grey. And I've done this. I think that's the original color. I've done this. Dark brown. I could have gone in the same order as these, couldn't I? Too late now. yeah, so this is how they layer. And let's try a couple different brands of sketchbook. Something tells me it will be a bit better. I'll pick the best paper for these pens. That, like, something tells me this will be the best paper for middle of video interlude. I would like to let you know that I have an online shop, which you can check out in the links in the description below. I sell all kinds of stickers, prints, and art and comics, all the things that I mentioned. So if you'd like to, you can check out my shop, you can support me there, or you can subscribe to my newsletter, which is also linked down below. But I'll do quicker swatches this time. And make them a little bit more fun. Oops, that was an accident. My hand just moved. Yeah, my hand just moved uncontrollably. So this is a Midori sketchbook. I completely forgot for a second. And it seems to handle like tumble brush pens really well, so I'm suspecting these will do much better. And I'll try and layer them here as well, just to see how much they bleed. Oh, something's telling me that this really bled a lot and that I'll have a mess in this sketchbook. But it's not too bad. As a comparison, tumble brush pen. I'm trying roughly to use the same, as much tumble brush pen as the other one. Maybe even more. And as you can see, the tumble brush pen does not bleed at all, but these do. Not a lot, but it can be a little bit frustrating when it does happen. So let's keep going. Yeah, for the sake of time, I'm not going to put all the names of the colors here. Heliotrope. I forgot these. Sorry about the sound, they really make this weird sound. And this was this one. This is the raw amber. I mixed the two up. So on this sketchbook, the second one was beige, but it's not a big deal. It's just swatching. We're not making finished art piece here anyway. I'm just trying to not take up too much time swatching these because we've already seen most of this on the other swatch thing part of this video. I tried to draw sideways so it would be easier to fill the circle cleaner, but I made them more mess as a result. I think my brain is getting bored by swatching, so hopefully you're still there and not asleep. And I'll do this quicker. And a couple more colors. I should probably do this. As well. Oops. This should be here. And we have the silver grey. Is this still visible to you? Yes. Yeah, we're already on the 40-minute mark, more than 40-minute mark. And I haven't done any art yet, which is why I'm speeding up. I'm trying to be less perfectionist about this, just so that I can show you more finished, not finished, but like actual art. Okay, so this is Tombow. Just trying to give you a little bit of a comparison in case, because a lot of you may be already on tombows or maybe are thinking of getting them. They're a lot more expensive, I think, than these, although I'm not sure if you can get these as singles or maybe they're only available as full packs. But still, it's sometimes useful to see someone test and compare them for you. And I'm trying to really layer it, and I've damaged the paper, so I've overdone it. So let's see which bits bled through. I have to say it's not too bad. Like, I had low expectations after this, but there's still a few bits where they leaked, and tombows are absolutely fine. There's a tiny amount coming through, but that's where I damaged the paper. But overall, I think tombows win, but pentals, nothing wrong with them, to be honest, either. Let's draw a cat, because I've been drawing cats a lot. And I'll draw one with the pentel brush pens, and then maybe I'll do tombows in a second as well. So I'm just drawing a quick cat, something that I've been drawing quite a lot, so I know exactly what I'm doing. This will be really wonky and weird. Well, weird is the best, so yeah, I'm going to go for it. Yeah, the separate, not even layers, but once it dries, it's really hard to achieve an even coating with this pen. I wonder what it might be better at. A video. But I just realized that I was escaping from the shot. Yeah, I wonder how else they can be used, and maybe they can produce nicer results. But I'm trying to quickly cover so that the surface is still wet, to maybe trick it to give me a better coverage, but no, it's hard. Okay, and I'm going to use Maybe this color. I would usually fill the background, but I'm just not filling it, so I'll leave the background empty. But I'll add the line work and details. Add the leg. And I'd like to use the liner. Okay, so this is Pentel brush, sign, pen, twin. Let's see how regular drawing affects this paper. There's no bleed through at all, so that's pretty good. I'll leave this blank so we can compare Tombow brush pens. Okay, which colors would be close to this? I reckon this is not exactly the same, but it's close enough. I think these are the same, yeah. And some kind of magenta. That's pink. Maybe this. Doesn't have to be exactly the same, but it would be nice to have as close comparison as I can. Okay, let's draw this cat again. So this is quite a well-used brush pen. It's one of my favorite colors, so I've used it quite a lot. So it may be frayed and it may be not like a clean, it might not produce a clean line, but it should still work pretty well. I'm not particularly precious about them. Just going to grab hopefully a newer one. That's better. Okay, I'm not happy with this texture either. So yeah, it's a bit uneven. And with tombows, I know I need to wait for it to dry a little bit. So I'll wait with details in certain parts. Which color would be more close? I think let's do pink. Okay, I'm going to use the same uni pin fine liner on top. I feel like I missed something, but yeah, I have little ears. Yeah, overall, I think it's all a matter of personal preference, and I often found that I've tested something and didn't particularly enjoy an art supply, and then gave it a bit more chance in the coming months. And it turned out to be perfectly fine. So yeah, I think it just depends on mood sometimes as well. But this is the comparison. And I feel like I could have achieved a better, more even feeling here. And especially if I didn't switch halfway through with a much juicier pen, because it made a big difference. Like if you look here, it's a lot more even than with the drier pen. And yeah, Pentel compares quite well. against it, and maybe I just forgot how streaky just brush pens are in sketchbooks, so yeah. Here's the pen tool and the Tombow brush pen. So today we tested a box from Scrawlr that contained pentel brush pens. So there were 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 brush pens, a Frisk gel pen, and a Unipin fine liner. And one thing I forgot was to test the fine liner, the gel pen in here. So I'm just going to add very simple detail without going over multiple times. So yeah, we tested all of these in 2 different sketchbooks, in a Midori sketchbook and in a sketchbook that's identical paper to the paper provided in the box, which is Sea White of Brighton, 140 GSM. I think it's mixed media, and this one's extra wet strength, and this one doesn't mention it, so it might be slightly different. But overall, I found these very similar. Okay, so just before we finish, I would like to unbox this envelope. And I might not swatch it out, but I really want to open it. Oh wow. Okay, so I wasn't sure what to expect, because when I looked on the website and ordered, it looked like I ordered a whole set or a mini kit, but when I looked later, it looked like I only ordered 1 color, which was slightly disappointing, but I thought it was still okay. But it is a kit, and the kit it has a lot more than I expected. It didn't show these things at all. It only showed these. They are Pintor neon markers, or acrylic, not acrylic, Pintor, Pilot Pintor, it doesn't say, neon, okay, they're like hard nib, I think, like highlighter markers kind of thing. And this one's neon apricot orange, this one's neon yellow, neon green, neon red, but that was the only thing in the photo, and there was a selection for colors, so I thought I was getting just, I think, either yellow or red. But the set also came with these 2. So it had a chisel Unipin and this acrylic paint marker. I didn't know this existed, so it's very interesting. Okay, it's a black acrylic paint marker. I've never tried this Daler Rowney markers before, as far as I remember. So yeah, they're like Posca pens mechanism, and this is more where you have to pump it 3 or 4 times to activate, but we don't have time for this today, so I'll test them with the next box or at some point in the future. Yeah, I just thought you maybe were interested to see, or like, yeah, I couldn't wait. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give me a thumbs up, as usual, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a lovely day artsing. Bye! So now, like promised, there is a link. On the screen you'll see a square with a link to the next video, so you can continue watching art supply hauls and testing. Yeah, see you there. Bye!